Unmuted.
Islam, can you hear me, sister?
Here's a bell. Gratitude.
Gratitude. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Moorish America. Want to rise upon the seven within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet. Honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. But let us come forth with our ancient committee and adept Moorish American prayer. And as we come forth, we ask that you open up your hearts and minds as we open up the way. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Ya Allah abnu heru makunet heru. Ya Allah abhed heru. Ya Allah ma'at heru. Ya Allah hotep heru. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'at herakuti. Ya Allah ahwajet juti. Ya Allah pert im sutek pert im heru. Ya Allah bamaduti. Allah hejit shepsis rayab to Ali. I mean, Halias, Halias, Halias. And that is the same Moorish kin in transliteration. O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet, O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Holy Issa, Holy Issa, Holy Issa. Islam, Moorish kin. And now we come forth before you with the divine constitution of Moorish America. Salvation, our God, unity. The seven supreme constitutional acts of law. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of Moorish America empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of Moorish America. The assisting Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. On a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish Americans to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality in the divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to the triune acts, Acts 1, 2, and 3 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. He had instituted laws for the government of the world. He had wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature, conforming to his will. Shemotepu Moorish King. Peace and love.
Islam. Attitude to our national citizenship for putting up the way according to law. I am the National Grand Secretary of the state of Indiana, Dr. Saad Nasinu Hatchersley-L. We rise giving perfect praises to our Father God Allah and highest honors to our Holy Prophet El-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Our theocratic Moorish American government, all of Act 1, our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag, the Moorish flag. Honors to our divine constitution and bylaws. Honors to everything that is Moorish, including all of you for being here in our Moorish perspective class. Islam, Islam. Chapter 65. The instructions from the Prophet. Insufficiency of knowledge. There is anything lovely, there is anything desirable, there is anything within the reach of man is worthy of praise, is it not knowledge? And yet, who is it that attaineth it? Man claimeth that he has it, ruler of the people claimeth the praise of it, findeth the subject that he possesseth it. Evil is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. How many evils are permitted by the connivance of the law? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? Be wise, oh.
What's going on with you, man?
Nah, what's up, brother?
Man, I thought they had locked y'all up or something.
Nah, man, fucking, like I said, had to go out there to PC to fucking finish up this fucking job that my other guys, I have another little crew that does vinyl for me now, man.
to hear, to be just, a must hear without thy passion. Long is long. Today is March 2nd, 2024. Welcome again to another Moorish Perspectives class sponsored by our Moorish American government. Host instructor is our National Assistant Grand Chief, the Shuttle Amenti and Pt.2. Chapter on the floor, chapter 65, Holy Instruction from the Prophet, the Insufficiency of Knowledge. Our subject matter will be pertaining to Ayat 3, who is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary. John clears the bell.
Gratitude, Islam, gratitude. Well, let us rise upon the seven within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Moorish Perspectives. I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Al-Mohadi Shabazz, and my ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedawar Mentiel Muhajir Shepsuel. And we have a grand measure to bring forth to our family in this Moorish Perspectives, coming forth from our present subject chapter dealing with the holy instruction from the Prophet, the insufficiency of knowledge. And dealing with this special drawing, we got a few portions that we want to actually draw from, as far as dealing with what the ayats are concerning. The main ayat is ayat 3. Evil is not requisite to man, and neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are permitted by the connivance of the laws, and how many crimes committed by the decree of the council? This is our main ayat we drawing from. And also touching upon that same measure, we're going to be dealing with, ayat 28, the tender of heart is turned from his purpose by supplications. The proud is rendered more obstinate by entreaty. The sense of thine insufficient commanded thee to hear, but to be just, thou must hear without thy passions. Because this is key. And just dealing with the ayat itself at hand, ayat 3, evil is not requisite to man, and neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Just that portion alone. In other words, it's telling us that we don't need evil. Evil is something that we don't have to have it. If we find ourselves in a situation relating to, evils and so forth and so on, then this is because we allowed ourselves to be put in that particular situation, so to speak. And there's a measure in the Piscean records where it stated that the great God Allah stated, I created good and I make evil. And what is being said in this particular drawing, unbeknownst to many, is that if we go into the Grand Quran, it actually answers, the call and response to that particular statement, because it said, whatsoever good from you that comes to you, it comes from the great God Allah, but whatever evil comes to you, it comes to you from yourself. And also man was created in the best of the molds, but yet he was abased to the lowest of the low. So we can see the same dynamic being expressed, in each instance, of the statement. So if the Most High created everything good for us and everything that bad to us come from ourselves, this is letting us know this has to do with a misuse of the will. This has to do with how we have misused our ability to think, will, reason, understand, and we definitely must have forgotten who made us. And so we already know that the greatest sin, of Adam, or a damned man that goes into a damnation state, so to speak, this actually comes from him forgetting. That was his greatest sin. He forgot who made it. He forgot he came from a source that was greater than himself, a source that was greater than any of the conditions that he thought he may have been suffering. You see? And so looking at it from this aspect here, that in and of itself is a whole nother drawing, family. So what we see is the weight of responsibility and accountability has always been placed upon us as a people, but most times we like to blame other people for our conditions. If something happened to us, even if we don't directly blame them and say that they are the cause, we react, become reactionaries in a way to where we will project, our pain and whatever it is that we may have suffered upon someone else unjustly. And all of this has to do with an insufficiency of the knowledge, an insufficiency of the knowledge of ourselves, the insufficiency of our conditions, you see, and so forth and so on. Because if we knew better, then we would do better. When you know better, you do better. Remember, knowledge means to know, but to know means to make application and apply what it is that you know, or then you really don't know if you can't make it applicable. If you find it hard, if there's a problem, if you making it applicable to yourself, then, you burn up from the start, so to speak. Yes, sir. So this is what we want to talk about. Every time we get up here and we speak, we never speak from a level of being judgmental. We never speak from a level of condemnation. We may get passionate about wanting our people to come into a clear conception because of the urgency of the moment and the time, knowing that we don't have time to play. But never do we get up here under the mode of any type of hatred or the mode of any type of malice and, to do harm to anyone. But, the ego, when it becomes bruised, it will take it that way. The ego will blame you and say, you ain't got no, what you want to call it? You don't have a heart. You don't understand what I'm going through. And all this other type of stuff, and I'm going to be honest with you, family. Out of everything that I've been through, in my life, I ain't never blamed nobody else for what I go through. I go through it, deal with it, keep it moving. It is what it is, but I don't feel nobody is obligated to try to butter me up or make me feel some type of way. And I ain't got no business looking at them sideways for that. That's just my mentality, my mindset, because I feel like we go through certain things in life to get to certain things in life and get through certain things in life. The only way out of the fire is through the fire. And the fire has some time to deal with your passions and your desires. You know, the way out of that is through a different type of fire, though. A fire that's a representation of wisdom. You know, the flames also represent wisdom because you learn from the things that you suffer. You see, the greatest heights are gained by those who have reached the lowest depths. You see? So when we understand that, you know, I ain't got no business being disgruntled or upset with anybody, you know, because they can't empathize or sympathize with what it is. Like I say, I deal with measures, you know, and I don't even, a lot of times, bring them to the manifest unless I feel like it's necessary to bring certain things to the manifest. But in order for you to be able to teach, you got to be done went through something. You can't have no squeaky clean background, a Tensacola reputation based upon worldly fame, you know, and never have went through anything. You ain't suffered nothing. Your whole life was full of roses, and you ain't had no darnels, thistles, and birds, as our Grand Secretary of the State would say. You know, if you living like that right there, you can't teach me nothing. And I say that with boldness. You know, if everything been good for you and you ain't never went through no struggle, you can't teach me nothing about this life. You know, and I'm saying that because, you know, you got to have be done went through something, you know, in order to, again, bring a measure. And a lot of times, based upon the experience that someone has been through, you know, a lot of time when you speak the truth based upon that experience, sometimes people may feel like you singling them out or you talking to them when you're only speaking from your own experience. You know what I mean? And if you wasn't able to speak from that level, one should actually be honored and happy and say, wow, this one can relate to my condition. This one can relate to what I've been through, you know, but they may be thinking, oh, this one right here trying to attack me, or this one, and you don't even know it. And some people actually hate you for the truth because they think you picking on them with the truth. They think you just trying to ride them with the truth, and all you're doing is giving the truth. But when you have been through it and you experienced it, yeah, when you say what you say, it's going to hit home. It's going to touch somebody because you're not speaking from what somebody else told you or something you just read about. You speaking from actual experiences. And this is one thing that we do. You know, we speak on those things that we have been through, what we can relate to, you know, and when we speak it to some people, that's harsh on their ears, especially if they ain't been through, you know, the battlefield like we've been through. I come from the trenches. I can't speak for nobody else. You know what I mean? So some things that we bring forth, me, our chairman, our sheik, it might sound a little hard to the ears. If you come up in the suburbs, you know, that don't make you no less. I'm just saying you ain't built for, you know, that blood raw, that uncut, so to speak. Anything somebody, oh my gosh, he's talking about me. You know, that's not the case, boys, kid. You know, so all is well. You know, so if we're able to see it from that aspect, the key is, remember, I told you before, when we deal with the consciousness of the soul and them 3 different levels, it's good if you can feel the truth when it comes to you, because that means that you have room for growth, and that means that you are conscious. But when you are, we can say, numb to the information of the truth, no matter what nobody say, you just stuck on whatever you stuck on, then you are somebody that's in trouble. You need some real help, because it's a good case and scenario that you in a state of what we call the bottomless pit. You see what I'm saying? You done got consumed by Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. And that is not requisite. We don't need that. We don't have to have that. You see, so when we find ourselves in that condition, it is because we have chosen to be there. A harsh truth, but we got to tell it to you. We ain't here to sugarcoat nothing. You know? And so, again, go back to the last ayat. Go into what's being said. It say the tender of heart is turned from his purpose by supplication. Now, when it say turn from purpose, this is not talking about your higher purpose. This is talking about your prerogative, what it is you want. So you can turn away from those things that you think you want and you think you got to have. If you have a tenderness or a soft spot in your heart, you can turn away from what it is that you were headlong and wanting to do by prayer and supplication. However, it goes on, it says the proud is rendered more obstinate by entreaty. You see, the proud is rendered more obstinate, by the good things that you tell them, by everything it is that you bring to them. They might have been looking for your information. At least they say they need your help, but then you give them information, then they get more upset with you. And what is entreaty? An earnest request. You see? An earnest request, family. A plea. An earnest plea. Ones would get upset by someone trying to be generous to them. You see? By someone trying to persuade someone to accept the truth, to accept a better situation. Like, you ever seen somebody when you try to tell them something positive, they get agitated and irritated? The more polite that you are to them, the more aggressive they become. You ever seen somebody like that? And that's what's going on. That's what we're talking about. That's an insufficiency of the knowledge of the self when one is reacting in that special way. I had a young lady earlier today. I had went to go to the auto parts store and ran across her before. But, the sister has a real bad condescending behavior, so to speak. And so I already knew to be ready for it and deal with it, just small stuff, like almost like one is trying to push your button. So I didn't feed into none of it. And just so happened, as I was standing there, a European came up. He said, "Hey, you that guy that was over there, ain't you the one that be over there paying at the what?" I said, "Yeah, I remember you from Pizza Hut." So he started vibrating, because he got a lot of respect for me. We had always had, I done built with the European on, knowledge or whatever. That's just how I am. Anywhere I am, I most likely I'm gonna have a conversation with somebody. It don't make no difference if a Moorish American or if a European or whoever. They can be any nationality. I'm telling you, I get to speaking the truth, family, and I'll be there about 30, 40 minutes, talking to these ones about the truth on just random people I meet, all the time I do it, and it was one of them encounters that he remembered me from, and just so happened he's working in that auto store. And so as we was conversating, now the sister want to change her vibration all of a sudden because she see the respect that this European got for me. You know what I mean? And you just look at certain measures or whatever the case may be, because some people don't know how to take your disposition as well. My demeanor, I'm a no nonsense type of person, right? But I ain't in a state to where I'm walking around disgruntled and mad. I'm a serious individual. That's my demeanor. That's my character. I ain't that way cause somebody outside of me making me be. That's just the way I am from what I done been through and what I seen. I ain't with playing all the time. Now I joke around and kick it here and there and, kick a little humor, but it just ain't in me to be somebody that's going to be playing all the time. That ain't part of my character. That's just the way I'm built, because you get caught up in the show and lose sight of reality, so to speak. If you get to playing around enough, a lot of times, just like when somebody get to playing around in a work environment and forget where they at, they'll be done messed up, and did something they didn't have no business because they got so caught up into wanting to play, want to get a laugh, want to joke, and want to kiki, And so I'm always observing. I'm always focused, because when you are not paying attention, that's when situations come through doors that you don't observe. So you always want to be attentive, so to speak. At least that's the way I move. But I know that demeanor, because some people, they want to know who they're dealing with, so to speak. And when they can't read you, a lot of time that frustrates people. I don't go around trying to see what people think, and I ain't got time to do it. It's too much energy to be trying to worry about what somebody else, how they tick and what they know. I ain't thinking about that. And that's why people knowledge so insufficient right now, worrying about somebody else outside of themselves instead of working on themselves. You see, you got people literally go out the way, and they do it because they feel uncomfortable in your presence. In most cases, I'm all right with being around somebody and they silent and they ain't saying nothing, or they ain't speaking. Don't bother me one bit. I don't feel intimidated and threatened. But some people feel like that, and they feel like they just got to spark a conversation in order to put themselves in the clear of what they consider safe haven or safety zone. Let me make sure this ain't no this ain't no savage right here, So I'm gonna try to spark a conversation, and so I know that I don't even be thinking about that type of stuff. So the nature of insufficiency have you in states where you lack a knowledge of self because you're so focused on everything else outside of the self. And most of the time people fall by climbing. What we have to accept, family, is that we are not here to enforce our will upon other people, in order to make ourselves feel comfortable. I'm not obligated to make anybody feel comfortable about the way the Most High made me. You know what I mean? Either you deal with it, accept it for what it is, and ain't. But I can tell you this, if you got it in your mind that we gonna try to do you some harm and all that, that's of your own raising, because we ain't thinking about nobody in that type of level. We don't deal with the vindictive tit for tat type of demonstration, but we call demonstrations out when we see it. So, the prophet told us every word he speaks is spirit, but we Moors have better take heed. You know what I mean? So we have to take heed, family. We have to keep our eyes and ears open, and really tap into the divinity of the self. Remember, knowledge is key. We were taught to come forth and deal with knowledge, as just obtaining some type of information or in competition. And then next thing you know, you like the Grand Quran say, a donkey, with a bunch of books on your back. And you don't have any knowledge. You just buying it for the sake of buying it and keeping it, but you're not implementing anything from it. You're not studying. Even every book that I got, I may have not read all the way, some of them, but what I do, and because the great God Allah has given me ability to be able to do it, I can speed read, and I get the gist of what's being said. There's one thing about it, when you go into a golden chord in every work, dealing with knowledge of different books, they have a particular theme that run through them. And once you know the theme of what's being said, you pretty much have an idea of what's being spoken of, but that's a practice. That ain't something you learn overnight. In other words, I can go through a particular work and deal with the core doctrine of the work, and go back deeper later on through the rest of the work and get a grander insight, so all of us have different ways that we do what we do. So yeah, I've been in every particular book that I have cover to cover, but I'm able to tap more into the actual essence of the measure. And once we're able to do that, we're able to get straight to the point, so to speak, and summarize measures and save a whole lot of time, when it comes to really being able to now make these things applicable to yourself, and so forth and so on. And so this is what we have to do. We got to study the self. Every day is a chapter, every day is a chapter, family. Every day is a new page in our life. Every day we pretty much moving from a state of progression of a cover to, the next cover, a cover to the back cover, front cover to the back cover, so to speak. So this is the book of creation you often hear me refer to. This is the knowledge. This is the true activity of what we call the circle 7. So when we understand this, then we understand why evil is not requisite to us, why we don't need it. I know I don't like a lot of drama, period. That's just my mindset. Even though a lot of it try to come my way and I sidestep most of it, I don't like to deal with it. I don't like to be around it. And I will tell you this, I found most of my strength in silence. I found most of my strength in, being in solitude. That's where everybody should find strength at. You got to be able to live with yourself, because once you can deal with living with yourself, dealing with yourself, accepting yourself, forgiveness of the self and so forth and so on, then you're all right. But if you have a mindset of codependency, you'll always be moving from pillar to post, falling by climbing, over and over again. I ain't got to learn but one time. And you ain't got to tell me no more. Once I get the lesson, that's it. That's just the way, my mind, I ain't hard-headed, so to speak. But, that's what the last ayat I was going over was speaking of. But it says, evil is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Ain't nobody got to tolerate your being in your vices. I remember when I was with the Young Brothers in the Street organization, one of the main things that we would talk about in the doctrine is being a lord over our vices. Being a lord of your own vices. We used to talk about facing the east and crushing the beast, but true east is within. So it ain't necessary. It ain't something to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are permitted by the connivance of the laws? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? Now we see this type of stuff going on when you go into the underworld, of a lot of big cities like your New York, your Californias, your Chicago, Detroit. These are areas where, vices have been tolerated. These are places where gangsters thrive in these types of cities and so forth and so on. Even down here in Florida too, they claim to come to Florida to retire, and all this type of stuff. But yet, evils that are permitted in the connivance of the laws, how many crimes are committed by the decree of the council. And this is showing you that in most cases, you have people where they have their hand in the pocket, so to speak, of politicians. So this is what this ayat is making me be reminded of, so to speak. And we seen the corruption in the political arena in the United States on how, the underworld controls certain aspects of, the legal system, the Italians and the Jews to be exactly. So from this aspect, that's a whole nother level when we talk about dealing with vices and all that right there. But, when it comes down to dealing with our own personal vices, our own personal weaknesses, it ain't necessary for me to tolerate somebody else's weakness. I'm supposed to be trying to tolerate my own weakness. Neither is it necessary for you to tolerate my weaknesses. You got to tolerate your own weaknesses. You see what I'm saying? So evil, again, is not requisite. You don't need it now. You ain't got to tolerate it. You see? And so we live in a world to where now good is perceived as bad and bad is seen as good. So the worse you can be and get away with it, then they praise you in the world now. You know, the more off the chain or off the wall that you can be, you know, you are actually praised and uplifted and elevated by the world, you know, by you being able to demonstrate like it is that you do. You know, so it's really a sad situation when it comes down to it at the end of the day. And then at the same time, we'll have those who move in such a way, you know, trying to act as if they are the civilizers of society and worse are crooks than the people that's really out there in the mud. The worst type of crook is the one that can put on, you know, and act as if one is righteous. We call them unrighteous pretenders, you know, back in the day, you know, and you know, this is the worst type. One that can put on the Moorish garb and whatever the case may be, but they still have the mindset, you know, of death and destruction. So, I mean, you got to be the message that you bring. And if your knowledge is not insufficient, then you just going along to get along. You just trying to get by. You don't really have any intention to fix yourself or change your condition. You know, you just want to fake it till you make it. And that don't work. You know, I mean, you may think that you're getting away, but as time passes by and, you know, years flow along, then what is that you have accomplished? You look and then you realize, well, you ain't accomplished too much. So you wasted your life away. Think about it. Just think about the last 15 years of your life and think about what it is that you have accomplished from that time up to now. Now, you know, by the time you get past that 15, and if you're already up there on the ladder, you know, you're getting in the area now where your youth is most definitely getting ready to begin to decline. So once you utilize that, so to speak, you know, then get to a spot to where you can't move around like you normally moved or whatever the case may be. If you haven't done what it is that is according to your higher self, your higher purpose, you're going to have a lot of trouble trying to wait till the last minute to get the job done. You see? So there is no time to play. And this is why we talk about the urgency of the moment. You know, there is no time for shucking and jiving. There is no time for just eating, drinking, being merry. Ain't nothing wrong with, you know, like we say all the time. The Grand Quran say, do not neglect your share of the dunya. Don't neglect your share of the world. But don't get caught up in the world to the extent to where that's all you thinking about. Worldly thing, material thing. Because one thing about materials, a material expression, it's undefeated when it comes to outlasting most of us as a people. You see, the materials will still be here and you be gone. The world going, I'm looking at the way that the city has grown in the last 2 years, 3 years, and I just move around in the city and I look, just talking to some brothers the other day about some of these apartment complexes that used to be, you know, what we call the hood down here. And a lot of them places don't even exist no more. So it made me reflect and say, man, going back, looking at 3-4 generations, the ones that were before me, the ones during my time, and the next one up under me, I'm looking at these ones and saying, look at all these people that died. Talking about they represent this street corner, they represent this block. They done went to war with each other. They done killed each other about this stuff, man. And now these places don't even exist no more because they was replaced with new structures, given new names. So the brothers and sisters that's locked down, buried alive in the institutions of Rome, if some of them do come back into the manifest, they won't recognize what used to be what it was. The history that was there as it relates to being those who were there are no longer there. And in fact, the young generation has created a whole nother wave, that ain't got nothing to do with what was going on in that time period anyway. So even they have phased out all of that which came before them. But my key again is, what was the purpose? All of them people died for nothing. Well, they died for something, for individuals like myself that's still here to be able to tell and warn, so to speak, the ones that didn't see what I was able to see. Because you got to remember, the young and not yet born, they coming up. They don't know what went on there. I was out there in the thicket of it, so to speak, with everybody else. So I remember the pathways and the shortcuts and, the honeycomb hideouts and, all of that. I remember where some people have lost their lives at in certain areas. And, I can go around the city in different spots, and this is just for my generation, not even talking about the modern day era and time of the young generation, because they taking each other out off the count like 90 going north without a pause or a cause. Back in the day when it would get kind of crazy, it got kind of crazy because one felt like they really needed to defend themselves. But now our people have become, so hate-filled toward each other to where they'll take each other off the count at the drop of a dime. But I notice that the things that we bring harm to each other for, the European can do the same thing, and we'll give them a pass. Not saying that one should be treating anybody in a way harmful. I'm just saying it's almost like our mind automatically is programmed, to know when to turn off the behavior that we exemplify toward each other. But when it comes towards somebody that's really trying to bring harm to us or hurt us, all of a sudden we got some sense now. And then I say, well, what's the case if you was in a state of had a death wish before, what happened to the death wish when it came to somebody oppressing you and they put their foot in? And so that a lot of that type of stuff made me change my mindset, a lot of that thought pattern, because I was in the mindset, the same type of energy I'm gonna give my brother and sister, I'm gonna give it to somebody else. It don't change because there's no police and all that type. That was my mentality when I was coming up. You know what I mean? Because if I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. I don't pick and choose and say, all right, I'm crazy now. I'm real crazy because I'm dealing with people. They're wrong. Oh my goodness, I know not to be crazy because they gonna take me out there. Well, you could have got took off the count by your own people acting crazy. So what's the difference? Wrong gonna kill you harder, huh? I'm just saying things because, these are things to really look at, family. And I look at also how many of our people, because some of our people live all of their lives trying to have, that in which the Hamptons have. Some people say the Joneses are. They spend their whole lives trying to have a mansion and, they want to get rich or die trying. They spend their whole lives, family. And some people never see that type of wealth that they're looking for. But the ones that have accomplished it was a lesson enough for me, because I'm pretty much content with the way I move. I ain't no greedy. If the Most High blessed me with a whole lot more than whatever it is I expected, all is well. But I don't live my life trying to be, the next mogul, and so forth. Because when you create those type of thoughts, you create a condition, so to speak, and then you begin to base your life upon what it is that you think you want, as opposed to what it is, that you got to deal with. You see? So I look at a lot of the celebrities and And I keep asking, and I done said this before, looking at them, and they got, some of them got money than more than some of us ever have in life. They got whole millions of dollars. Some of them done went to billionaire status, but yet they are still suffering from the same condition that they were suffering from before they became famous. So the money didn't change their condition. The riches didn't change their condition. You got right now, the young generation out here got way more money than some of our people. I'm talking 15, 16 years old. These young brothers and sisters here got money. Some of them the wrong way, some got it the right way. But a lot of them, say they become successful as a result of their rhythm and poetry, i.e. what a lot of people like to call rap music. That's what RAP mean. Rap mean rhythm and poetry. There's a lot of rhythm out there, beats, but there ain't no poetry. That's what they're missing now, because Rome won't let them bring that forth. But what I'm saying is that these young brothers and sisters, they become wealthy and they use their money to bring about more chaos in their environment. They want to pay murder for hire, have each other took off the count. Some because of jealousy, some because they feel like in order for them to be on top, they have to eliminate what they consider, or who they consider their rivals. See, I'm just talking about the evils. We ain't got to have this stuff. That's why I'm talking about it. I know this may be hard on some people's ears, but if we don't talk about the cancers that's plaguing us as a people, and these are cancers upon the body, these are tumors. If we don't talk about it, then these demonstrations will continue to grow, expand, and be cultured, so to speak, with more self-destructive behavior, so to speak. We begin to breed it. What does the higher self breed? Justice, mercy, love, and right. What does the lower self breed? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, everything that harms. LSD, D, and B. And still have some L, T, P, F, and J. You see? So we really have to analyze what it is that we're dealing with. We got a lot to compete with, family. We need not sit here and think that this is just like it was when the prophet was on the manifest, as far as the condition that he had to deal with and what we have to deal with now. The prophet didn't have to contend with social media. And this is not just trying to teach our people. This is just dealing with the basic aspects of building a family structure. Because you got people trying to live their lives, or their best life, off of what they see as somebody else's self-supposed best life. They are patterning themselves off of whatever it is that they can see. You go on the internet and find anything that you want that agree with you. So when you find what agree with you, and you look at it, then, oh yeah, man, they demonstrating this particular way. Well, oh man, I'm loving that right there. But let me go demonstrate the same way. You see? So people are looking at eye candy, and this is what I want. This is what it is. And I see somebody living like I want to live. So I'm inspired by that. I'm not inspired by, what one has been teaching me to better myself. People don't understand the statement, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will be added on to you. Heaven is a state of mind. If you change the way that you think, then you change your conditions. If you change the way that you look at things, then you change your condition. Now, that don't mean that you ain't going to have no struggles. Because we want to stop, thinking that when we go through stuff, family, we go through struggles, that this is, the Most High chastising you. When you know that you done been doing everything right, and you've been in the higher self or whatever the case may be, and you go through trials, family, stop thinking that this is because it's wrath. No, that's just something that you have to go through at that particular time. You ain't exempt from that. Prophets wasn't. What make you think you're gonna be any better? But most of the time our people think like that. And this is where they end up beat themselves up. Some people like, man, I done did everything the Most High told me. And then I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and they break because they weak. Some people weak, like they ain't built like that. But I understand, like, everything I've been through in my life. I'm just speaking in general because I can only speak from my experience and try to give somebody some insight on what I experienced, not making it all about myself. But I'm telling you on experience. Everything that I've been through, after going through it so much, it didn't do nothing but make me strong. It didn't harden me because I always vowed to myself, a sacred vow, that I'd never let the world make me as ugly as it is. But it made me fortified to where I can deal with a whole lot. I ain't talking about perpetrate. I literally don't care. When I say don't care, I'm talking about to the extent when, the trials come or whatever. It ain't in the extent like, oh Lord, oh goodness gracious, whatever. What I do is I'm, under them, they'll call me a Libra scale, but I'm the Ma'atic balance. So what I do is I try to find a balance in the situation and say, well, what is the meaning of this here? Same thing Yehoshua would say in the book. What's the meaning of this here? Or sometimes I might speak to my Moorish kin and say, why in the world that one can't get their mind right? It ain't cause, I'm feeling some type of way, but they won't accept the truth, or that don't make no difference, because whether you accept the truth or not, it ain't gonna make me nothing. So I can care less whether you accept the truth or not. I'm wondering why you're making it hard on yourself. Them the question that I be asking. Why would you continue to make a situation hard for yourself? And if that's what you want to do, then all is well, because ain't nobody mad at you. I'm saying I ain't gonna let you force that upon me. I don't have to accept, that is special burden because you want to be in that state of mind. No. So I just asked the question. I asked my family, why is it that you can't get your mind right? Not to the extent that, well, you need to get your mind. You did. I'm just saying, why are you making it hard on yourself, brother? Why are you making it hard on yourself, sister? Then it got to be. You know what I mean? Why you won't just let nature take its course? Because that's how I am. But what I noticed too, a lot of times our people will leave you for dead. Some of the people that you thought was close to you, and I'm talking about in general, almost like you don't even exist, like you ain't even on the planet. Your own family, they do this. Hey, I'm cool with that, right? But my thing is, when they go to getting in situations, then they want you to bear their burden. That I don't get. If I've been here trying to teach you, the right way, and that's what I stand upon, what I represent, you know that I love my people, that I'm going to try to give you good guidance every time. I'm going to be on the soapbox, so to speak, right? You don't want to hear nothing because you grown. You got it under control. You're going to do what you want to do, right? Okay, I'm cool with that. Well, let them live their life. That's what they want to do. They want to get on drugs, alcohol, or whatever. That's what you're doing. I hate that you do what you do, but you already know I ain't tolerating, I ain't doing it. I ain't judging you, but that ain't me. So my thing is, when things start going bad, then be the man or the woman that you're supposed to be and suck it up and deal with it and stop trying to push your burden off on somebody else. If we tell you, more, don't demonstrate this particular way. Now, ain't nobody saying, hey, you better not do this here or else we gonna send them muftis. We ain't demonstrating like that. That ain't how we demonstrate in the Moorish American government. We just tell our family, we give them divine warnings. And then when it don't go right, now you want to get mad at the government. You want to get mad at another Moorish American Muslim because you chose to be grown. You know everything. You got it under control. Everybody else just don't know what we should be doing. And every time you get out there, you fall by climbing. Every time in your little insufficiency of knowledge, you end up crashing and burning. You see? And then when you crash and burn, now you want to make it my responsibility to fix your situation. That's Assistant Grand Sheik. He's supposed to fix this. When all the while we told you, don't do that, Mo. Don't go that way, Mo. Islam, Mo. You know what I mean? Govern your condition, Mo. Now I'm gonna do what I supposed to. This is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm up in there. I'm gonna do. And then when it go wrong, now you know you supposed to help me. You the Assistant Grand Sheik. You the Grand National Chairman. You the Grand Sheik. You supposed to help me. And that's a sickness. That's an illness that our people got. Our people will create conditions for themselves, family. Terrible conditions. And then again, they want to force the burden of responsibility upon you to try to test you. I done created a situation I can govern. So now let me bring this problem to you to see how much of a real Assistant Grand Sheik or Chairman you is. Let me see if you're going to take my burden. Well, guess what? If you're looking for Jesus, I ain't him. If you're looking for Jesus, my chairman ain't Jesus. The one the European taught you about. If you're looking for Jesus, my Grand Sheik and none of these officials in this government finna be your Jesus for you. Ain't now one of us finna be no sacrificial lamb for you. Because that's where that mentality is coming from. It's coming from an insufficiency of knowledge. And being that you know that they gave you a fake and a false historical Jesus, you want to make us fall into the role play. Being that you don't know how to accept, who the Most High is, then you want to show contempt for somebody that represent the Most High. I don't feel like God gave me what it wants, so I'm gonna try to create every difficulty I can for this servant of his that he have representing him. Because I'm mad at God. I want him to go through the turmoil that I'm going through because he seems so happy. He seems so peaceful. She seems so peaceful. Don't nothing bother them. You see, when you don't understand, everybody have the demons that they have to battle with. But you got some people that will envy you just because you able to go to battle with the demons and not be consumed. But they have that weakness and that insufficiency in them. They gonna blame you for it now. Oh, we gonna make it plain. It don't get no plain in this. You think this right here super esoteric or too spiritual for you? We got something for you. Showing you how blood raw we can get with this truth. Well, you ain't got no choice but to see it for what it is. You ain't got no choice but to look in the mirror and look at yourself. Not look at me. Not look at my chairman. Not look at my Grand Sheik. Not look at the officials, but look at yourself. You see, and that's another thing. We got to stop worrying about what it is that another more is demonstrating as far as with the way they want to live their life. Let them people live their life. And you live yours and try to be the best Moorish American Muslim that you can. Because we ain't entertaining the foolery. It's God frequency is what we talking about. And you can take that and run with it. So the whole key is we all have a purpose, family. Our purpose is to teach our people their nationality and divine creed. Our purpose is to uplift fallen humanity. And how can you uplift somebody from a fallen state if you haven't at some time fell into the abyss yourself? You see? The insufficiency of knowledge. There's a reason why the prophet also said what you don't know can build a nation. But somebody got to teach you what you don't know. In order for you to know, you have to have an instructor. And that's why we were given holy instructions from our instructor in order to fortify us with the impregnable doctrine of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam. We talking straight to you. And if it's meant for you, you're going to get it. Islam. Holy instruction from the prophet, insufficiency of knowledge, weakness and constancy, instability, misery. These are all the foes that we have to fight to come up out of the condition that we had been found in previously, the state in which our holy prophet had found us. Islam. So it's a lot of work that we have to do. We keep telling you that the time has already run out. Ain't no more sand in the hourglass. You can't even flip it over no more. Because we in times to where all those things have now come to pass and gone. And so we on the manifest to do whatever it is that we were called to do. Walk in your purpose, family. Be what you want to see. And watch how things in your life begin to transform and turn around. One thing about it, one thing you got to know though, and I believe personally that a lot of our people don't like to get too firm because they have figured it out. Most of our people know that when you really are living that life, to where you are actually all in and you have become strong, the stronger you come, the more tests that come to you, and also the stronger the tests. So when you are really fortified and you strong, you ain't gonna get no little tidbit test. You gonna get tests, that basically will break the average man or woman. Because the way you are built, you are conditioned for those types of tests. Whereas somebody that is not built for that type of test, man, they might go into a nervous breakdown or go crazy. You see, so the great God Allah never places a burden on us that we can't bear. He knows how we are made. He made us. You see? I hope that our family really getting something from this special draw. And this is really just a real talk session right here now. Hoping that we reflect upon our behavior. Not for me, not to impress anybody else outside of you, but because you know it's the right thing to do, family. You see? So we have to know the right thing to do and do the right thing. Uh-oh. Let me make sure this thing here. We don't need this thing trying to cut off on us. Let me do this here. I got a little short in this thing here is what it is. I'm going to have to buy another cable or either replace the things on the inside of it. Okay, so it's charging now again. So yeah, this is what we're getting at, family. We just want to encourage our family to study, know the self, and continue to study more. Salvation, our God, and unity. Salvation is our prophet, our God is Allah, and our unity represent us being the third and the fourth generation that is on the manifest, and the young and not yet born being here. Like our National Grand Mufti was talking about early in the week. We here to do the work to make it easy on the one that come behind us, not to try to make this not to try to make this demonstration easier for us, to try to get a whole bunch of cushion for ourselves, so to speak. That ain't what we here for. We ain't here, to just live comfortable. If that comes, then all is well. But the only way that we will be able to gain some form of benefit while we on the manifest is that we unite. If we would have united by now, we could have the world, Moors. But being that we have not come into true unity, our people drop the ball. They don't want to demonstrate that Asiatic degree. The United Asiatic States. Don't nobody want to do that. Don't nobody want to move as one. Everybody want to do their own thing. Everybody think they got it figured out and they want to go their own way, and everybody trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And that's why it's taking us longer. So anytime you feel like you want to ask that question, just think about it. And the answer is right there. The reason why I keep going left is because everybody want to reinvent the wheel. I ain't got time to be trying to reinvent no wheel. I'm good with the way the path is. I'm good the way the path is already. I just want to follow the path. Man need a path that he's willing to follow and not one that he always trying to lead. You understand? I define this as Allah's law that you must first be a good follower in order to become a great leader. You got some of our people, they know that they don't know how to do something, and they'll still buck and rebel against leadership that's trying to teach them how to do a thing. They can be as ignorant as ever and have no knowledge of something, and still they want to stick their chest out, and go to task with the people that's trying to teach them, knowing good and well they don't know what's going on. And this causes a loss of time and weight. That's why I say stick with the young and not yet born. The one that think they're too grown to learn, let them be what they're going to be. Get out the way, keep it moving. We don't hate them. Just keep it moving. Don't waste no more time on them. But the time you wasting on them people right there, you can be dealing with those who want to learn, those who want to grow. I don't care how much I done learned, what I done studied, family. I'm a student at the end of the day. And I don't mind saying, I'm a student. I sit at the feet of my chairman. I sit at the feet of my prophet. Sit at the feet of, I don't mind that, right? There ain't no ego involved in that. It's an honor to me to be able to say I sat at the feet of my chairman. Sat at the feet of the tribe of endurance. That's an honor to me. But you got some people so egotistical, they think that we privileged, that they learn and they study. It ain't no privilege to teach you. We don't look at it as no privilege to have you, under the teach. No, we just here trying to teach our people. So I don't know where our people get that sense of entitlement from, but we got to stop it. We got to stop it, family. Ain't nobody privileged to teach you, we ain't privileged to have you in our presence. That ain't how we look at our people. We teach our people because we love our people, not because we have to. We teach our people because that's the right thing to do, not because we got a point to prove, or not that we trying to convince somebody else. Because we know we can't convince the NBC. He believe everything Master say. You see? Man, I don't know how many times we can say this over and over again. Because one thing about me, family, I ain't about, the fake it till you make it demonstration. I can't do it. If I don't deal with it, I ain't dealing with it. If that's what it is, and I'm man enough to say, they ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. I'm on my way. Till you be your way, me, that's how my mentality. I ain't in nobody present to be faking. You understand? That just I can't do it. I can't act like I'm one way and be another way. I'm just telling you, I don't know nothing but one way, and that's to tell you exactly what's on my mind. So you know exactly where I'm coming from. I ain't got no time to play no game, be deceptive, because we don't need it. All that evil, vile, deceptive behavior, we don't need it, family. And until we learn that, I'm telling you, we're going to continue to fall by climbing. We're going to continue to run into unnecessary situations. And by all means, family, do not let nobody, even the one that's claiming they're Moorish American, don't let nobody pull you out of your God frequency. These energy vampires and succubuses and incubuses, as they call them, Don't let them do it to your family. Because some people live off of that. They know they ain't going to get all the way into the higher self or the kingdom. So they want to make sure you don't get there because they feel miserable in hotel les miserables. So they need somebody down there with them to make them feel comfortable in the mud. And again, I'm not here to make you feel comfortable in the mud. You see what I'm saying? And none of us should make anybody feel comfortable in the mud. Oh, our people are so crushed and they need our hand. They in need until you try to help them. Everybody want to work until it's time to work. Man, let's build. Let's do some nation building. All right, let's do it, family. Okay, you get this task, you got that task. We're gonna do it all together. Where they at? They won't even show up for work. And when they do show up for work, they dragging they behind or dragging chains behind them. Yeah, that's the way our people operate, unfortunately. You know, some of them don't want to work. They just want to have some small talk real quick and act like they want to perpetrate to do something, but ain't got nothing in their mind to truly do what they talking about. They just shooting the breeze is what they doing. You know, hey, I hate to give it to you uncut like that, family, but like I said, that's the only way I know how to give it. You know, anything I said that may have been a benefit to you, then praise be to Allah, it come from him. I don't take no claim for it. He is the one that gave me the ability to be able to think and some intellect to exercise. But anything I said that may have been offensive to you, that ain't what I intend. But I got to give you the truth for what it is. So if you feel upset or slighted in some type of way, we did not direct this message at you. We directed this message, you know, because this is the way we are dictated to speak. You know, in most cases, when I get up here and have something where I think I want to put a guideline out, I end up deviating from the guideline of the notes. And I just let, you know, go and let the great God Allah utilize me and bring forth what's meant to be brought forth. But I can guarantee you, whether one admitted or not, it was something that was said that confirmed something that they was looking into. It was something that was said to strengthen ones along the way. It was something that was said to add on to the wisdom. You see what I'm saying? That's what it boiled down to, family. So we got to get on the job. Like the Sheik always say, boots on the ground. Scimitars on deck. Let's get it in. Let's go. Moorish movement, divine movement, everlasting movement. That's what time it is. Holy instruction from the prophet. Insufficiency of knowledge. Know thyself and thy Father God Allah. So what we're going to do at this particular time, you know, because I said everything that need to be said, no need to harp upon it. I definitely made myself plain. We're going to open up the floor, you know, so that we can hear from our Moorish kin, so to speak. So at this time, if you have any measure that you would like to bring forth, you're on the conference call or you're on the panel, you're more than welcome. So star 6 your phone, Moorish kin. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Sister Curtis Bay.
Islam. That Dendrania Creator Bay. First, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah, give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, give honors to Act One, I give honors to all my governor fishes, and I give honors to you, National Sister Grand Sheep. Woo! Good gracious for this powerful class tonight. I tell you, I'm just sitting here just enjoying this whole class. Definitely going back to listen to the playback because this is just plain out, just real talk. I mean, you just got us here and you just giving us real talk, real life talk, surreal, like they say on the when you're watching some things on TV. This is so surreal. I mean, you I just give you honors for everything you did. And some of the things that you talk, I loved it when you talked about, even in, you talked about in the past scene, they had the Bible said that talked about God made good and evil. I never really understood that. And then you went to the Quran and you said, it says in there that everything good come from Allah, but everything evil come from us. And when I was in the Piscine area, I didn't really understand all of that, and how uh uh everything good come from the great God Allah. Because like you say, when you I can I'm clearly understanding why our prophets say study self. Because when you don't know how things operate and things of this nature, you ain't gonna know what's going on. And to when you say evil come from us, I mean, and you also talked about how you never blame anybody else. That also made me think about how, when I was in the Piscine area, whatever happened to me, we blame the devil. Well, the devil made me do it, and that was a way of escape. It made you feel good because you weren't being held accountable, but somebody else made you do it. So that way you don't have to be accountable for what you do. But as I continue to grow and to continue to uh, get into the teachings, and then finally got into this government, I started to learn that, you got to look at yourself. And it was another one that you talked about. You talked about oh yeah, yeah, talking about the only way out of the fire is through the fire, and how a lot of times we be in the fire because of our own desires. We the one did that, and that took me a good minute to to understand, that I was the one that was really causing all of my issues, because I didn't know. Number one, I didn't know who I was. Didn't Number one, didn't know that life and death was in the power of my tongue. Didn't know anything about the law of attraction. Didn't know that I was a God, and that I could create my own reality just by speaking certain things. But like I said, as I continue to grow and learn these things, I tell you, Dr. Shaheed, this has just been a powerful class. Just real life talk for us. And you also talked about being tested, and how, if you done been through some stuff, if you are strong, more out there in the field, yeah, you are exactly right. You gonna get tested with some hard stuff. And like you say, some of the stuff that you might get tested with, somebody might make somebody else just fold, just fold. And that's why Allah, because see, Allah knows. He knows how much we can bear. He knows what we can do and what we can't do. And like I said, this just been so powerful. And last but not least, you talked about those who don't know, and try to hinder you from finding out the truth, or try to come against those who trying to teach you to know, but they'll come against the ones that's trying to teach you to know. They don't know and don't want nobody else to know. And when you deal with things of this nature, I'm learning to not paying it, not to, like you say, I'm learning to not to let no one take me off of my square, not to let no one sidetrack me with the little whispers, or the little whispers here and whispers there. My roots are planted here in this Moorish American government, and they are going down deep down into that soil, and they're wrapping around the rock of the great God Allah and his holy prophets' teachings. And so whatever wind try to come, my roots are holding on to that rock, them rocks up under there. So you ain't gonna move me. I'm here to stay. And no matter what come, I love my prophet. When I found out about my prophet, he said, one day you're gonna love me. Well, I loved him when I found out about him. Didn't know a whole lot about him, just knew a little bit. And I loved him then, still love him now, and always will love him. He said, those that were with me 2,000 years ago are with me now. So I believe I was with him, because I'm definitely with him now. Powerful class, God, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay strong. and keep putting that message out there. And we right there with you, helping to get this message out there too. Gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
And gratitude for the measure as you brought it forth from our father's treasures. Peace and love, goddess and queen. Islamism without that schism. Praise be to Allah. All right. All right, Moorish king. Well, is there any other Moor who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? Let the world know you're alive. Islam. Islam.
Oklahoma territory, let me rise in perfect praise. Give all praise, honor, and glory to our Father God Allah. Allah is responsible to honor, to Ali. Give honors to Act 1, our flag, against our family. Swift angels, Monty Core, and everything that is Moorish. And also honors to the Moors who spoke before me, as well as those the ones who forgot. And just coming into class, just listening, and it was mentioned in your measure that where the prophet said, what you don't know can create a whole nother world, not a nation. Now, when he was saying, to my best of understanding, when what you don't know can create another world, right? That world could be, you can even look at it like the sense of the feigned citizenry that our people, and even us, some of us even suffer from, being labeled black, Negro, black, colored, right? And in the different territories that we live in, we see and experience this world that has been created based on knowledge that we didn't know. That's why the prophet said, what you don't know can create a whole nother world. He didn't say what you don't know can create a whole nother nation. Those are two different things, two different levels of comprehension, two different levels of understanding between the world and the nation. So in that, right, this world that has been created, this fictitious world we're dealing with, corporations we're dealing with, denationalization, right? And in this, people have been made to believe that pretty much they're fake citizens. And meanwhile, our bread is being eaten by another. We don't understand. Some of us can see where we're buried at, but when it comes to articulating, right, and teaching the proper protocol and tools, we lack. So questions come up. And because the person may not necessarily be able to articulate a particular thing at their level of understanding, it can come off as being combative, right? And it's not that. It's just that, our people want answers. They want to know. And we're saying that we're this. We're saying that we're government. And ain't nothing wrong with that. We are. But when it comes to operating in real time, right? Not something that is to be done years down the line. No. Talking about, because remember, time is an illusion. So if time is an illusion, right, and our reality base is what we're facing, what we're looking at, mental slavery as well as some is even suffering from a physical slavery, right? And we're saying we're this, right? Government. When Yahushua will return, the government will sit upon his shoulders, right? Meaning the 12 departments is being realized on our shoulders, above our neck. Because we're saying we are a nation of people, and we're demonstrating that, right? So, in all of these different territories, we know that we have, it's a common setup. You have your state, you have your different, your federal, you have your state, you have your counties,
Islam, brother base bait. Islam, base bait.
Right?
Islam, base bait.
Yes.
Do you know what the
Right.
subject? Do you know what the subject matter is, brother, to this topic?
Please put the subject matter on the floor.
I'm asking you, do you know what the subject matter is to this topic, brother? The subject matter is dealing with the subject matter. Bates Bay is dealing with ayat 3.
Which is, because you touched on a lot. You touched on. You may be dealing with that, but you touched on a lot in your message.
Islam, grand man? Do you know what chapter?
I don't have my book in front. I don't have my book in front of me. Can you
Islam?
Can you read it for me?
Islam. Do you know the subject chapter we are in this week, brother?
Dealing with pretty much government of nation, governing nation.
No, sir. What chapter we are in?
Insufficiency of knowledge.
Okay, so what ayat is ayat 3? What ayat is ayat 3?
I don't have my book in front of me. You just said 3, so I just asked you to read it for me.
You want me to give you time to get the book? Good brother, I'm gonna give you time to get the.
I don't need time. I'm asking you to.
Good brother.
We're dealing with an insufficiency
brother
of knowledge.
Bates. Good brother,
right?
Bates Bay.
It's gone, brother. It's gone.
Good brother. Hold up, brother Justice. Hold up, brother Justice. Hold up, brother Justice. It's all right. Brother Bates Bay, go get your book, brother, and come forth with ayat 3.
I don't have my book with me. I'm out and about. I'm giving my portion of measure understanding, insufficiency of knowledge.
Yeah, but the insufficiency of knowledge is the chapter. I'm gonna give you the ayat. I'm gonna give you the ayat, good brother. This is the ayat right here. Let me give you the ayat. It's ayat 3, right? Now you see what's going across the bottom of the screen right there. That's ayat 28.
You can read it?
That's ayat 28. Say that again, brother. The ayat is evil. Listen to me, good brother. If you listen without speaking, you can hear what I'm saying. Because every time I'm trying to tell you something, you're talking over me. Listen. Evil is not requisite to man. Neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are permitted by the connivance of the laws? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? Now, the other ayat that's dealing with this measure is coming from ayat 28. And it states the tender of heart is turned from its purpose by supplications. The proud is rendered more obstinate by entreaty. The sense of thine insufficient commanded thee to hear, but to be just, thou must hear without thy passions. Which is real relevant to what we're talking about right now.
Right.
Can you give us a drawing on that, brother?
My measure
based on those ayats.
Drawing, especially with.
Yes, sir.
Let me know when you're ready for me to speak. I can give you a drawing exactly in line with.
Good brother, I'm trying to let you speak, but you talking over me every time I speak. You have a problem with that, but go ahead, brother. I'm not here to argue with you, brother. I'm not your adversary, brother. Remember, we standing before the world right now.
I don't take you as that.
We standing before the world. This is the Moorish American government. This ain't an organization, brother. So act accordingly. Islam.
Islam. I understand that. So even in that ayat, I think it was in chapter 3, it was talking about the connivance, how many evils are pretty much perpetuated. Excuse my language if I'm paraphrasing it, but they're talking about the connivance of the laws, right? So this is where it goes back to what I was saying before. When it comes to the nation, right, as a people, a lot of us understand our nationality as it relates to who we are, our proper identity, and everything like that, and our divine as well as our earthly salvation. We understand that part. The thing is that the conditions that we are living in these different territories, it's the same thing going on, but it's the lack of knowledge on how to go about organizing ourselves to bring ourselves up out of that, right? Because, and you can see that with the disunification, right? The disunity that we have amongst ourselves, amongst our people, right? And that is due to a lot of your ignorance, as well as pretty much the system of slavery, that was put down. You know what I mean? As far as being made into black people, right? And some of us understand civics, some don't, right? Some emphasize the religious aspect of the movement, and then the international side of the movement. And then some have a balance of both, right? So those evils, those conniving laws that, pretty much perpetuate evil, all of this is systematic based upon us having a lack of knowledge of what the prophet said when he said, what you don't know can create a whole nother world. This fictitious thing that we're dealing with, we're sometimes we're not addressing how to come up out of it. You see what I'm saying? And it's not that when I say that, it's not that it's not possible, because it is. It's just when we're dealing with on an international scale, right? Like how this call is, but when we take that as far as dealing with it on a nation aspect, we haven't really delved into that as of yet, because a lot of the times we can focus on the religious aspect, which is to correct our moral character. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's needed.
Islam, more. I'm gonna have to ask you to step down, because your 7 minutes been up and you still ain't addressing the ayat.
My train of thought. I'm going somewhere with it, and I'm tying it in.
Islam moderator,
if you don't mind.
Islam moderator, remove the brother from the panel, because we done gave him ample time and he still ain't addressing it. He still ain't addressing what's being spoken. The brother up and he's in his passions. So Islam, we can't demonstrate like that. And ones, this is what I'm talking about right here. We got to stop doing this. This pettiness, family. We here trying to teach our people. And you get up here and call your Moorish American government fictitious. If you don't want to be here, go into Rome. That's simple. If you lose confidence in the prophet, turn in your cardin button, cease wearing your turban and fez, and return to the state that the prophet found you. Now, we tried to give the brother ample opportunity to be able to speak, but we see ones that's trying to get up here and cause confusion. And that's what we ain't going to do. Now, we try to give our people a listening ear, but we're going to keep it moving. And Moors, don't feel the need to address none of that nonsense. And Brother Justice, we give honors to you, brother, for being the Grand Mufti that you are, brother. Islam, all is well. The peace is still. Islam. Is there any other Moor who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? The floor is open, family. Based upon the subject matter, because we know a lot of y'all was listening. Y'all actually heard the title and everything. Go ahead, Moorish Ken. We still got 15 minutes. Anybody want to speak? It's all right, Moors. All is well. Is there anybody else that would like to give their message before we close this demonstration out? Islam, Brother Marvin, that was Bay.
Gratitude, God, man, for calling me. This is the Grand Chief of North America. Yes, this is Dr. Marvin that would stay out of the Texas territory. Rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah. Giving highest honor to his prophet, our prophet Noble Duali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give honor to our theocratic government, our North American government. Give honor to our Act 1. Give honor to all of our officials. Give honor to this class, our Moorish prospective class. Well, I give honor to our Act 1. Give honor to all of our officials. Very powerful class you got going here, God, man, my good brother. And, right, okay, no need to address what was going on prior to me coming on right now. But, like you said, this is a government, you know what I mean? We have protocol, and it's just, it's kind of hard not to address it. But moving right along, okay, we're on chapter 65, the insufficiency of knowledge. And you're coming from the ayah 3, evil is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are permitted by the connivance of laws, how many crimes committed by the decree of the council. You know, when I hear that, I'm thinking about the powers that so-called be. You know what I mean? That's instituted here in, you know, in the United States. We look at our people. We look at us before coming, ourselves before even coming to this North American government, before even becoming enlightened, to have a degree of knowledge. You know what I mean? Because everything was taught in such a way to keep one dumbfounded. You know, to teach one confused. Like we see our people regardless, you know, and it just gets to me that, you know, our people, we get a little knowledge. You know what I mean? Like they say, we know enough to hurt ourselves, so to speak. I ain't go to the degree that they say. You know what I mean? But we have to continue to study. That's what the prophet teaches us to. When you have studied yourself well, you know what I mean, and you ask what to study yourself. I mean, there is so much within yourselves. I believe you that other ayat was 25. Islam God, man. Can you tell me that next ayat? I said 3.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, Brother Marvin at Bay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Actually, ayat 28, the last ayat.
Oh, 28. Okay, the tender of heart is turned from his purpose by supplication. The proud is rendered more obstinate by entreaty. And I did look up that word, like you say. I mean, that's when someone is, you know what I mean, trying to bring something to them, you know what I mean, and they get all obstinate about it, all beyond themselves, so to speak. I mean, and it's I would say it would be ridiculous, but it's really more, it's more of what's the word? It's a hindrance to those that maybe don't know. You know what I mean? But it's just a harassment. You know, to me. You know, in my understanding. You know what I mean? So that entreaty. You know what I mean? One is pleading. You know, so to speak. You know what I mean? Pleading with one to come to the truth. You know what I mean? And the sense of thine insufficiency commanded thee to hear. But to be just, thou must hear without thy passions. And you speak about the passions. I mean, some of us, we are ruled by our passions. I know I was for a long time. But I've come to understand that even, like, talk about doubt. Doubt is of our own making, you know? But when we are sincere, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take each more to be sincere. Be sincere with yourself. You know what I mean? To admit when you are wrong. Admit when you are going astray. You know what I mean? And make speedy reparation. You know, and I'm being honest when it comes to say I know I felt different things. I think we all do, because that's the nature of man. You know, that's the nature of the Lord self. It's going to come up with different, you know what I mean, thoughts that's not becoming of someone that's standing up to be righteous. You know what I mean? But it's up to the man to take responsibility for that and accept that and humble oneself. See, I know when I humble myself, then Allah blesses me with a higher degree of understanding. And so I can see the error of my ways. I mean, this is a powerful class. You know, you talk about the mission is for the young and yet unborn. You know, so we want our young and yet unborn to come into a world where angels have brought on a manifest an atmosphere of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We should never have to argue with anybody. You know what I mean? Especially with our homework skin. You know, that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean, to even come to that point. But I'm just grateful for being here, being a part of this divine and national movement. Because when you forget the divinity, yeah, you're going to end up making yourself look foolish. I'll put it like that. So I don't want to be foolish, because I was like that for years. So praise the Lord for sending a prophet, but give me an opportunity to make it right. Give me an opportunity to raise myself up to where I can be worthy, you know what I mean, of what the prophet brought us. You know what I mean? He brought us everything to save us as a nation of people. Now we got to take it and save ourselves. And I say, God, man, gratitude for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
And gratitude for the measure, brother. Some of our people don't want the love that we're trying to give our people. That's all good and well. Allah is leading on and victory is sure. And it's a lot more love divine to go around to all of those who want to be loved and want to demonstrate love. So Islam, brother, we give honors to you. Gratitude. Islam, is there any other more who would like to come forth? Islam, brother Muhammad Bey.
Islam and gratitude, my beloved brother, National Assistant Grand Sheikh of North America. I'm Dr. Joel Hamid Muhammad Bey, Consul General of the South Carolina Consulate. I want to give praises to our Father God Allah. I want to give honors to His holy prophet, our holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I want to give honors to our Moorish American nation, our Moorish American government, our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag. I want to give honors to this class this evening, hosted by you, Dr. Sheduel, Minty El Muhajid Shepsuel. Grand demonstration as always. And I want to give honors to all of our Moorish kin and all of those that open up the way. Islam, grand. Oh, man. As always, you cover a lot of ground, grand man. And, of course, I concur with my Moorish kin. I'm going to camel back off of them. I don't want to be too long in view of the time. But, the very first part, like you said, when it starts off with that one word, evil. Evil is not requisite to man. I find that very, very informing. I find that very, very revealing, especially in the light of the class that you presented tonight. Because we know that basically to get a better understanding of this word evil is synonymous with ignorance. Lack of knowledge. That's the chapter that we're dealing with, that you're teaching from, Grand Man. Insufficiency of knowledge. So it's automatic that when one doesn't have enough knowledge, and not just knowledge in terms of information, because like they say, this is the information age. So one can have a whole lot of information but not have the right information or the knowledge of the truth that will allow them to be able to come out of that state of ignorance. I find that again very enlightening, because our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali, one of the things that he teaches us in this Moorish American government and nation is that in all the world, there are two things: truth and falsehood, knowledge and ignorance. He goes on to inform us that understanding is the rock upon which man builds himself. So we know for a fact that, okay, how can one have understanding if one does not have knowledge of the truth? So I find this, you say requisite, meaning it's not natural. It's not natural for our people to be in the state of ignorance or lack of the knowledge of truth. So that means that somewhere there's something being held back. And to be short and brief, like one of the avenues is that so-called Masonic demonstration. where, a certain amount of knowledge that they say they have, and they say, shh, we can't tell the masses of the people, no, So I'm going to end with this, right, in terms of the evil. In the Piscean record, it says, who would take a light and hide it under a bush? Let your light so shine so that all may see its glory. So this is revealing the fact that if our people, which they are ignorant, mainly ignorant to the knowledge of themselves, like the Moor said, it is because that knowledge, that truth, has been held back from them. But we are here. The Moorish American government, the Moorish American nation, and the citizens and everyone here have been given the truth of our true identity and our nationality. And we are charged with the duty and the responsibility to give the message, not to watch over people's affairs, but to give the message. And that's what we're here for, to teach our people about their nationality and their divine creed, the knowledge of themselves that allows them to return to their natural state of peace, which is called Islam, and be who the great God made them to be. Islam and gratitude. Thanks for letting me share.
In Islam and gratitude for the measure, Brother Muhammad Bey. Islamism. Allah is leading on and victory is sure. Praise be to Allah. Well, all right. Well, gratitude for the measure. I want to give honors to all the Moors who came forth and exercised their five, and may we have more wisdom as it relates to the insufficiency of knowledge and understand, exactly the work that we have been called to do. So at this time, we're going to call on our officials, starting with our beloved Assistant Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Alseta Moonel. Islam, are you there, sister?
Islam.
Islamism.
Gratitude. First, let me rise and give all praises to Allah and our honors to our Prophet Pt.2 Ali, honors to our Moorish American government, our officials of our government, and our citizens. Honors to you, Godman, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadu Ameti Muhaji Shepswell, for opening our conference call upon to law and bringing forth a grand Moorish perspective this evening. And honors to our Goddess and Queen, Dr. Ninja, Dr. Sayanati Heteru for taking registration and reading that subject chapter of the week, Islam, subhanAllah. Honors on our chapter of the week, chapter 65, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, the Insufficiency of Knowledge, on our subject matter, ayats 3 and 28. Evil is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated, yet how many evils are permitted by the conveyance of the laws, how many crimes committed by the decree of the consul. The tender of heart is turned from his purpose by supplication. The proud is rendered more obstinate by entreaty. The sense of thine insufficiency commanded thee to hear, but to be just, thou must hear without thy passions. There's one statement that comes to mind when I read these two ayats, and the chairman had a lesson on that many times, and he always said, and this is what keeps me ever mindful, not to get into my passions. He said, "Don't let your passions outweigh your judgment," and that's all I keep telling myself. Don't let your passions outweigh your judgment. The judgment comes from that divine part of man, that Allah speaking to you, the God within telling you you know better. Don't go there. Don't let them pull you out. Don't let them pull you off your square. Don't let them take you back to that Negro that the prophet condition that the prophet found you in, and then next thing you know you can't get back out of it. All these things, that one phrase keeps me from going towards. because the passion is when you get into your feelings. And the chairman used to have another statement about that when it come in the conference call, leave your feelings at the door. Because he understood that we always in our passions, caught up in our feelings, and not listening to the message, but focusing on the individual that might be bringing the message when that has nothing to do with it. Because as we have learned, the prophet will take a drunken man out to the gut, tell him, make sure he says what you need to hear when you're passing by, and he'll lay him right back down. So it's not about the messenger, it's about the message. And until we learn to govern our passions and stay out of our feelings, we won't be able to understand the message. Most of us think that because that telealive vision and everything else around tells ones that you have to be big and bad and you have to do this and you have to do that, and they're mimicking everything they see and everything they hear on the TV or in the music. They don't know that that's all about making money. It has nothing to do, well, yes, it does. It has to do also with tearing apart families and communities because they know eventually the ones that are listening and watching will start to imitate what they see and what they hear. And so that's what the prophet tells us, we must learn to love instead of hate. And he said, not you should, not you may. He said you must, MUST. And some when the prophet says something we must do, I mean our survival is hinged on it. In order for us to be a nation of people and to govern ourselves as a nation, we must learn to love instead of hate. We must practice our 5 divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and don't get caught up in our passions and stay within that divine judgment, a divine order of love first. Islamism, gratitude for calling me forth. Peace and love to all my Moshkin.
In Islam, in gratitude for that drawing, sister. Praise be to Allah. Let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of State, Dr. Hatshepsut Rakat Ma'at Anpul Tut the Common Bay. Islam, pardon self, actually our National Grand Mufti, Dr. Kanshu Ma'at Herube, Islam, pardon self. Islam, you there, Grand Mufti? But we know our brother's about the business of our Father God Allah, and he's most likely on a mission. We know he's about to work. So at this time, let us call Islam, Grand Mufti.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't let me get in there and the conference locked, so I had to go the other way. I don't know, somebody else might have that same problem.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I
have for you.
Yep.
About for you. Well, first and foremost, giving adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, the most beneficent and most wise. And we give the highest honors that we can give to his prophet, our prophet, the last prophet of these days. And in these times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the savior of humanity. Give honors to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We give honors to his government, our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live. According to Act 6, we give honors to the officials of this said government. Divine ministers and our swift angels, Mufti, our royal council, our secretaries. We give honors to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. We give honors to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, the Quran, our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, Book of Fire, the Foot of a Nation. Give honors to everything that is Moorish. We give a special high honor to you, National Sister Grand Sheik. Should do a Miti Metriception well for bringing forth this Grand Moorish perspective. honor to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us, our Moorish kin that will speak after us. We give honor to you, angels. We just continue to give the honors where they're due, honoring all true and divine prophets. And yes, we give honors to our ancestors. Come before us, leading the way. We are them today without doubt or contradiction. No one has the power to change man. It's nature. There's a law for that. And it's definitely been a grand class. As you say, you know, I'm always going to show and prove and make the lesson plain. And we definitely able to see plainly the lesson that you brought forth. And thing about justice, said justice got to do with the higher self. The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. Breathe, she love and right. So when we're talking about to be just, so hearing without thy passes, you know, talking about demonstrating governance, one has to take into consideration of the whole, not just a singular perspective. That's so important that we draw off these lessons and these opportunities to sharpen our tools when they come, because this is we're dealing with, as you said, people, you know, are carrying the shackles, mental slavery, of Jim Crowism, and living under assumable jurisdiction of people who are a system that's just using. So when we get to dealing with each other, when we get to dealing with the nations of the earth, we got to come from that mode, thought pattern of high science, intelligence, and about just reciprocal because for us, we have to. Our Quran tells us, you know, we have to preserve our lives and the good it is for others. You know, we have to preserve this holy and divine movement. And just what we've been ordained to do to bring forth peace on earth and goodwill towards men. And having the peace got to start right with us. So praise Allah for this class, and praise Allah for showing the world, like, you know, how we handle things, how we do things, and this is why here is a nation that'll bring our people the lessons that'll bring about our prophet said thinking. Because if he could just get us to think, we'll save ourselves. So, you know, let us continue to move forward in the process of helping our people learn, process of thinking, so that they can see for themselves their own study, their own works, acts, and deeds, the true vast estate that we have, the nation of people, and what has been sent to us by our holy and divine prophet. So, for the forth this evening, and gratitude to you, Moorish America, for being here with us, giving us your time, attention, and respect. We love you.
In Islam, Grand Mufti, we give honors to you for that droid. Praise be to Allah. Islam is without the schism. Honors to you and the tribe, my brother. All right. Let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Sheptut Rakat Ma'at Anpu, to the Common Bay. Islam?
Islam, gratitude.
Gratitude.
Islam, Moorish Cat. Gratitude. Grand class, Dr. Jackie. First of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, Swift angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish kin. Giving honor to all those Moors who spoke before me, all those Moors that will speak after me. Giving a special honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohamed Shepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law, and also hosting a Grand Moorish Perspectives class this evening. Giving honor to our National Grand Secretary, State of Indiana, Dr. Sayan Nati Nuhekaru El, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. Giving honor to all of our Moorish kin, our family online, to Act 1, and also giving honor to these are special blessings that were brought forth from our Father's treasures. When we look at the subject matter, I agree, evil is not requisite to man. Neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are committed by the connivance of the law? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? And also, ayat 28, the tender of heart is turned from his purpose by supplication. The proud is rendered more obstinate by entreaty. The sense of thine insufficiency commandeth thee to hear, but to be just, thou must hear without thy passions. And for me, Dr. Shaheed, you brought forth so many keys and blessings. The thing that really struck forth with me was dealing with the master words of responsibility and accountability. And we have to look at the state that our people were in prior to the advent of our prophet Noble Drew Ali, which he termed as mental slavery. And we also recognize the fact that the soul is going to be seeking and searching for the truth even to the ends of the earth. So when we find ourselves in a position where we don't like being in a particular condition or circumstance or what have you, then by us being God, by us being Lord of the plane of things manifest, Lord of the plane of soul, we have to recognize the fact that thought is the cause of it all. So we have to change our thought in order to change our condition. And these keys that have been brought to us by our prophet are so truly key and necessary for us to be able to study the self and continue to study the self. When we look at tests that you were speaking about, and I can remember looking at every test is, my God, what else? I'm not trying to go through nothing else, until being here on these conference calls and listening to my Grand Mufti, yourself, as chairman and the Grand Sheikh. One should not be running away from tests, but when you change the thought, change your perspective, or have a paradigm shift, you realize that these tests have become lessons that you learn to embrace, because how else are you going to learn how to be strong? We have to be able to exercise our thinking. We have to recognize the particular foes that we have within ourselves. The key is to recognize it. Then the next step is, what are we going to do about it? So these lessons are either going to make us stronger or make us weaker. All of that depends on our will, our reasoning. The prophet also says vanity is beyond them all. So when I was looking at the last ayat in reference to one being able to hear without their passions, I thought about that still small voice within ourselves. Because a lot of times with vanity, we close our eyes to particular degrees when it comes down to the study of the self. We close out our hearts and minds, don't want to hear anything else. And therefore, we've also shut out the voice of the prophet, no matter what form it comes in, whether it be brother or sister, it could be European on the job, it could be, our brothers and sisters that we meet on the street. You don't know who Allah is going to use to give you that truth that you may have been searching for ages. So we have to be very careful about shutting ourselves out to the truth or putting limitations on ourselves, making ourselves on a finite level when if we but open up our hearts and minds to the truth and recognize the value of being able to let love, we speak about love divine in, letting truth in, peace, freedom, and justice. These are the things that are natural to us. And as we are children of the great God Allah, the same attributes of Allah, these are the same virtues that we have within ourselves. And this is the state that's most natural to us. So we have got to learn how to feed from the ethers of our native plane, which is spirit. This plane that we function in, this is the slowest plane that there is, and this is what is called the fall, and so too often here in the West, whether it be various pacifiers of the mind, things to keep us in that unconscious state of mind or rock back to sleep, this is not what is natural to us, but it keeps one from dealing with the study of the self. And prior to the advent of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in my life, I didn't have a clue. This is like a whole world now that has been opened up to me, a whole universal order thing. Because not having these special lessons, I'm looking at so many blockages, not realizing that I have created it for myself from my own negative thinking. But if you don't know, this is why we value our instructors, we value our conference calls, we value the truth that has been brought to us by our prophets, ordained by Allah. So this has just been a grand class, and it is very imperative that we look as far as our purpose is concerned. Why are we here? We are here to be of aid and assist to our brothers and sisters, to fallen humanity, here to teach our people their nationality and their divine creed. We are actually the return of the ancient one. So if not us, then who? So this has been a grand class, and these keys we have to consider as divine and national treasures that we may be able to use to not only heal ourselves wholly, but also heal the rest of the nations of the earth. So gratitude more for calling me forth. Much peace and love to all of my Moorish Islam.
And gratitude to you as well, Grand National Secretary of the State, for all that wisdom. God frequency, Islamism without the schism. Well, all right, speaking of God frequency, I know the ether's over there vibrating now. We're going to call forth my Grand National Chairman, Dr. Akin Acton Pert M. Heru, to the Common Bay. Islam. You there, Grand Man?
Islam back at you.
Ooh-wee.
Everybody get praise to Allah and other Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That much honor to Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet these days in time that was sent from the great God Allah to bring us as Voice America National everything to take to save the nation on government, on flag, on divine constitution, bylaws, prayer, everything more. We are so honored and blessed. And I want to give much honor to all those that spoke before me this evening. And the main thing is to be settled and praise Allah that you're home. You have everything now. You don't have to submit to slavery no more. You don't have to submit to none of that foolishness no more. You got it all. All you got to do now is do what you're supposed to do because it's yours. It all belongs to you. Who made you? It's not complicated. Islamism without the schism. We love you.
Islamism without the schism. We love you too, Grand Man. That's that Aliism right there. Goodness gracious. Well, all right. Y'all heard my Grand National Chairman. All we got to do is be it. You got to see it first. Then you can be it. Man, I know my National Grand Sheik on the front line. Dr. Serapis Amin Rael. Yeah. Yes, sir. Islam, you there, Sheik?
Close to the top.
Oh, that's that love thought the prophet, bro. Islam. He didn't bring the nails now.
The false fear. We be still and know that alive the sky drew our lead is his prophet and all the more on this conference call. At this particular hour is a student of our prophet. And we learn and earn our learning by being the message that we bring. So we give a lot of praise and honors to the love talk, Prophet number 2 Ali, for bringing us these lawful and healthy lessons in a corrective mind, but bring us back to that state of our former dispensation of being God's man and God's woman here on planet Earth and get the drawing off of everything that rotates on the dial plate of heaven. And we give honors to all the Moors here, there, and everywhere, especially the Moors that are here with us now, that gives us a drawing about ourselves, because you see yourself through your brother's eyes, and your brother's eyes see himself through you. We get a drawing, and we draw like truth. If we draw like truth, then we seeing like prophecy. And that's the illustration that's velvet and very pretty. We give a drawing off of this because of our ability to move here, there, and everywhere, especially in traveling that the speedboard. But we give honor to this class this evening and all the lessons that came forth from it. It didn't suit one well. We asked one to go back to the drawing board and get a drawing off of it. Don't look at these lessons with your passion. Look at them with ability to raise your passion to a height that gives one the ball point of love. You want the love to vibrate someone's soul and give one a drawing. So this is why we have it 7 days a week, 7 nights a week, on time, anytime, on time, anywhere. We give the board the grand demonstration. Praise Allah. January 15, 1929, a warning to the prophet. The red's on me. I invite to inform all citizens, seeing all radicals, agitating speeches while at work in the homes or on the street. We offer peace, not destruction. Stop flashing your cards to your opinions. It causes confusion. Remember your cards for your salvation. Pray to obey these orders will give of severe consequences. We offer love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious towards the covenant or the property or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by the prophet. Even if they lose confidence in the prophet, they should turn in their garden button, just wait that there was a bed, and return to the state where I prophet. This is the holy divine movement founded by the prophet, number 2 Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is turning out the divine plea to all Muslims that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is the everlasting movement founded by the prophet to the will of Allah to redeem his people from the simple ways by all the prophets of the duality. This divine warning is supreme laws now and will be enforced by the said government hereby. Islam. The holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. We are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the blessed one mother has given me son, mind of affection, that's what you like and stuff, but that peace and happiness makes one of our Father's house. And when you separate the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity, and to burn out of the stranger before our own blood. If our brothers in the world assist him, if our sisters in trouble, to take her not. So to the forces of our contribute to the support of this whole race, and its care be continued to you all in your love to each other. It's This means a picture close according to Act 2 of our divine constitution, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace, more, much love, here, there, and everywhere. Peace.
It's a grand class.
Great class, National Sister Grand Sheik. Grand class. Your dues, Moors. Don't forget to pay your dues. We love you, family. Good luck.
American government.
Islam, Moors. We love you, Moors. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. I wish he would. Islam, we love you, Moors. With love and divinity. The prophet didn't bring nothing but love, man. The prophet didn't bring nothing but love, Moors. That's all he brought. He brought some love. Islam. Islam. Islam.
Great class, Dr. Shaheed.
Islam. Peace and love, Moors. Islam, Act 1. Gratitude.
It's been another March bigger the occasion.
Islam. See y'all Moors in Sunday school.
Drinking that haterade.
Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious.
I'll try to see you on tomorrow Zoom class.
Islam.
Islam. Looking forward to it. Peace and love, family.
Peace and love.
Islam. I want to give honors to our family out there in social media. Kama'at, Nova Bryan, Tarif Bay, Born Dog, Nova Bryan, yep. Charles Royale, A.T. Sankofa, Marquise L., Terrence the Great, all y'all. Y'all know it's love. Peace and love. We'll see y'all in the next session. Islam.
No pain, no gain.